why do I think that Primed Pistol Gambit is a much superior mod than Creeping Bullseye 90% of the time for late game players in Warframe? So a lot of people seem to have the idea that Creeping Bullseye basically makes Primed Pistol Gambit a useless mod, but it's actually in most cases the better option in my opinion, and it all comes down to the trade-off of crits versus fire rate. If we take a look at their counterparts for our other ranged weapons, we see that for our rifles there's a much starker contrast between point strike and critical delay with a 50% critical chance difference between each other, making it a much more desirable option for our critical based primaries. And for shotguns, it's a no-brainer between Blunderbuss and Critical Deceleration with a whopping 110% critical chance difference between the two. It's literally no contest. But for pistols, we're comparing a max-ranked Primed Pistol Gambit's 187% critical chance versus Creeping Bullseye's 200%, a mere 13% greater critical chance with a 20% reduction to our secondary's fire rate, which considering the relatively small critical chance difference between the two, it suddenly becomes a significantly larger trade-off. I personally find that secondary weapons specifically are always happy to have additional fire rate. There's very few out there that don't care for it, making it much more of a priority stat on these weapons versus rifles and shotguns. Now that said, secondaries also have some other unique ways outside of modding or arcanes to increase your fire rate with the Furix Amalgam mod. But if you're like me and you want to use literally any other melee weapon in the game and like to use it also in your missions alongside your secondary, then you're not going to be able to take advantage of this tech. But if you don't have the Prime version yet, Creeping Bullseye is clearly the better option than normal Pistol Gambit with its 80% critical chance difference. But if you've got the Prime, 13% more crits just isn't enough to make it worthwhile, unless of course you're running into mod capacity, forma, or endo issues, which is definitely an important consideration when you're build crafting in Warframe. But what do you all think? This is, after all, just my opinion, so let me know in the comments, and as always, sub for more tips and swing by my stream if you need any help.